Hey guys, thank you for checking out Bucked Up. Just before we start, I would love if you'd hit the subscribe button, like, share the video. We have new episodes coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And starting in the new year, check out Wrapped Up exclusively on Vivo. This episode is sponsored by Exotic Roots Hydro, which I have to give a huge shout out to. They are a huge supporter of the podcast, and I'm really happy to be working with them. If you're ever in Rochester, New York, and you need to learn about any of your hydroponic needs, go to their shop. You can follow them at Exotic Roots Hydro on Instagram. Shout out their whole team. They have an amazing venue space. They're going to be putting on tons of events. Just make sure to follow Exotic Roots Hydro on Instagram. And if you're ever in Rochester, definitely stop by. Let's get back into it.
It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up.
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you have fucked up.
Can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, are we on right now?
Yeah, I guess we're starting.
No.
Not because 3 years ago, like, I really like hearing that, like, people making that decision. Because some people think they're done. Some people hit a certain time or age in their life, and they think that it's over. Like, that's the circle that they're going to be in for the rest of their life, or cycle.
No, I mean, you make it what you want it to be, bro. Like, every fucking day that you wake up, you decide what you want to do, you know? Like, it's just, no. Like, you to follow a dream, you have to abandon reality anyway, right? Because reality always is telling you no. Reality is always say get a job. Reality is always say it's not going to work. It's too many. You don't have what it takes. Why would they listen to you? What's going to make you stand out? What's going to make you different? Everybody else is doing it.
Is that reality, though?
That's
resistance from others. That's the other people telling themselves that. So you feel it too.
Correct. And so, you've heard the saying many times about if you show me a man's friends, I'll show you who he is, right?
Yeah.
So the people that you surround yourself around, the mentality of the people that I grew up around, I'm a fucking unicorn. Like, seriously, the projects where I grew up, I'm a unicorn. This doesn't happen. You don't see, somebody doing what I do and for how long I've been doing it, and the elevation of like, come on, like
being your own boss.
Correct.
Like,
it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
No one teaches you that because the people who are around you aren't doing that themselves.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like, no one told me I could do my own thing until I started doing my own thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so interested in what that decision you made like 3 years ago was.
It was just I had gotten to a point where, I wasn't fulfilled. My soul wasn't being filled. I was making music. I had put some projects out that had, were successful. But, I knew I could do more. I knew that in order to get to where ultimately I thought my talent would lead me, I had to be out there more.
Yeah.
I had to do more. And I couldn't do it, behind a desk, 8 hours a day. And,
What were the first steps you took?
The first steps I took was just saying to myself, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, if we're going to have the conversation, we'll have the full conversation. Like, I also started, the process of a divorce at the same time, right? So it was just a whole, life,
How long were you married?
Oh, man, we were together since I was 16. So about 25 years.
I know how my whole, childhood was surrounded in a bad divorce. So I know how intense those are and how emotional and how much time they fucking take over. So
it was life-changing, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, moving into an apartment. You've been with this person your whole life. You move into an apartment.
16.
Mm-hmm. You move into an apartment and, no furniture, right? Literally, like nothing. And, like a fucking air mattress. And I remember laying on this air mattress, right? And I remember saying to myself, I got to get a fucking bed. Right? I said to myself, I got to get a fucking bed.
Yeah.
And maybe a day later, I get a text from my manager saying, hey, somebody wants to do a feature. This is what they're paying you for the feature. And I was like, holy shit, that's a bed, that's a frame, that's a mattress. this is it. Like that was the moment I was like, yo, fuck everything else. This is what I'm doing.
Do you believe in like higher powers? Like,
Do I believe? Well, I believe.
do you believe in luck? Like that?
No, I don't believe in luck. I think you make your own luck, right?
Because that happened the next day, and there's too many of those coincidences in life for that to
But
be like.
this is 10 years of grinding though to get to that day.
100%. It takes 10 years to be an overnight
Absolutely,
success. As they
absolutely.
say.
So
Yeah.
this is 3 albums, 4 albums later to get to that day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was cool, like, you know, and I was just like, okay, like this is an affirmation. And then maybe a few days later, I get another feature, and this is what they're paying you for the feature, or this is what they're offering you for the feature. So I was like, all right, cool, you know, like I can do this. And it's just like figuring out the play, like figuring out how to maximize each moment. And once I figured it out and started, like, you know, learning some other routes of income, I was like, okay, bet, like I can do this, like I
Yeah.
can do this, absolutely.
When was the last day at work?
September, I think it was September 7th, 2019,
Wow.
if I'm not mistaken.
September 7th. So the 8th.
I
Were
was-
you just like, were you scared? Were you excited?
I
Were
was
you...
fucking, I was rested because I slept late.
yeah.
that
That first night,
Oh,
yeah.
my fucking God.
You quit or you get fired?
I let myself get fired.
I did this.
I let myself get fired. It was crazy though. You know what's so crazy? The job actually recently reached out to me to ask me to come back. Like, it's so crazy. You know, I did sales for Optimum.
Okay.
Altice now is what they're called. And I was a very good salesperson there. And so like my supervisor literally hit me not that long ago. I was like, yo, like we would love for you to come back. I'm like, yeah, I got fired. He's like, don't worry about that. Like, you know,
I'm on other shit right
yes,
now.
yes. Like I just been, you know, moving around. But when I left, I woke up the next morning and I like you felt light as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like shit, like that feels so fucking good. And it felt great. It felt amazing. And then whatever day that was, let's say that was a Wednesday. I know starting that weekend, I was in a studio every day for about 163 days straight, I believe.
Wow.
I forget what the count was. It was like I did music for like 163 days straight. That was like the last number that I counted on.
Happy?
I've never been happier.
Yeah.
Never been happier.
When you do in your own shit.
It feels better than fucking.
It
Seriously,
does.
I tell people all the time.
No, I say that because like I used to drink a lot,
Mm-hmm.
have a little bit of a drinking problem,
Okay.
and no matter how fucked up I got, like nothing is as good or as good of a blackout as the experience on stage.
See, I'm very, and like one of the reasons why I wanted to do your podcast is because I'm very interested in the mindset of people such as ourselves, right? Because we're megalomaniacs at our core.
Yeah.
That we feel like we need to get on stage and convert this trauma that we haven't resolved, right, into something that gives us validation from other people. Is the weirdest shit in the world. Right?
It is really weird.
Oh, I know. Like
Because people will say like, "Oh, I love whatever I listen to," and you're like, "But I hate, like I'm a crazy person. This is the only way I cannot be like an insane person."
to think that the joy that our arts can bring to people has to come from some of the darkest parts of us is the wildest shit in the world to me.
Yeah. Well, it was funny that you were saying show the people you hang out with, and I'll show you who you're gonna be. Because like A.A. Rasheed posted this thing where it was like, you are the combination of the 5 people closest to you.
Absolutely.
And that is true. And I think about that, and it's funny. You said it's not funny. You were talking about divorce, but like what started this podcast was like a breakup, and my ex telling me like the people you're around are holding you back. Like, and at first you're like, yeah, fuck you. Like, I don't realize that. Like, I don't want to realize that. But then you start realizing like it's 100% true.
You know what's fucked up about me? Like, you know how some people suffer from like an attachment issue?
Yeah.
I suffer from a detachment issue, you know, and it's fucked up because maybe I don't value relationships as much as I should because I know they're all fleeting And so I appreciate the moment for what it is, but I don't get too wrapped up on it, right? Like I don't take things personally, like you know, like in this industry, like, oh, he didn't like my post or he didn't whatever, bro. You know, because it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day, because somebody liking a post, somebody making a comment, somebody retweeting, whatever the case may be, it doesn't change my trajectory. It doesn't change the mission I'm set here to do. You know, so I don't get caught up in that shit. You know, but the detachment thing, as far as like the people that I grew up around, it was always kind of like fuck them, right? I've never been the hometown hero. You know, they always wanted it to be someone else, but unfortunately it isn't. Or maybe fortunately it is, because it's an example for people to say like, yo, fuck it, bro. You gotta fucking follow your passion. And like I said on like Suge said on the song CEO Suge, everybody can't go. Yeah. Like where you're headed, everybody can't fucking go.
It's really it's funny because people come up to me and say to my face like, oh, it's like crazy what you're doing. It's a compliment, but it's like I know in the back of their head they're like, I didn't think it was gonna be you. Like I didn't think the like underdog. Yeah. And then I hate. So you said I have an attachment issue. I would say to different things where it's like I like get addicted to the numbers. Okay. And I hate that. Like that's I'm starting to get numbers. Like finally after like, you know, people think like honestly people think the Conway episode's like my first episode ever.
Which is fine.
It's fine, but I had 140 other episodes before that. Like
10 years of making overnight success, right?
Exactly, like and that's totally fine, but now that I get those numbers, it's like, oh, I want more. It's like, why should I even care about that? I didn't care about it before.
You know, they asked Bob Marley, I'm sure you've seen a clip about is he rich?
Yeah.
And he talked about numbers have no end. Yeah. So if you're basing it on numbers, you know, then you'll never be satisfied. Yeah. I feel good when I feel when it's coming through me, and I know that this is one of those. Yeah. That's when I feel that. So it doesn't matter, you know, what it looks like on the gram, you know, because that shit is fake. Like realistically, like so we know, you know, we use it for what we use it for, but that shit is not real.
We really use it for like self-affirmation. At the end of the day, like making it or to make ourselves feel good for that serotonin boost of like
okay, I'll go with that.
People, that's really what it is at the end of the day, and it is a good way to connect, but that's not what everything else is about. Like
yeah, I mean, it's a fucking picture. Like it's a vanity fucking reel.
This is gonna sound vanity, but it's not, because this is real. Like this is a real feeling that I was angry at myself. On Thanksgiving, I was out in Detroit. It's funny, I'm wearing the shirt with Danny Brown and Hannibal Buress. And we're at Danny Brown's house smoking a joint. Okay. And I didn't get a picture with them. I was with Danny Brown for a week, didn't get a picture with him. Hannibal Buress is one of my favorites, didn't get a picture with him. And I was like mad at myself that I didn't get a picture with them. I was like, literally, I was like, it was Thanksgiving. It was literally Thanksgiving. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't I ask them for a picture? And I'm like, why the fuck do I care that I want a picture? I just had that experience that literally if I had told myself 2 weeks before that would happen, I would be no way. But I literally was, and then I have to be mad at myself that I even cared about that shit. Yeah. Like,
I mean, but it's the self-realization of where you are. Like I was having this conversation maybe 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. Like there's so many dope things that I've been a part of that I've never posted. Yeah. Because I know I was there. Like you can't, like when the story gets told, you can't fucking say I wasn't there. Yeah. And so that adds more mystery to it. Like everything is not for everybody. Everything is not for the people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's a level of mystery that I try to maintain, because those are my favorite artists. I don't know shit about Rakim. I didn't know fucking nothing about Rakim growing up. I couldn't reach out to fucking Nas via social media. I couldn't reach out to Black Thought. It didn't exist. You know, I couldn't tell Common unless I bumped into him that I thought he was dope. You know what I mean? It just didn't happen. You know, so
you see it as detrimental?
I don't know if it's detrimental, but I think you miss out on the magic aspect of it, because there's a magic that happens when I listen to fucking Stevie Nicks. Yeah. There's a magic that happens when I listen to Culture Club. There's a magic that happens when I listen to Stevie Wonder, because I didn't have the access. All I have is the memory. right? So I never had the option to be rejected by him saying, yo, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Or like, yo, why are you in my DM? Or seeing that someone saw it and didn't respond. Never had that opportunity. So there's a magic that exists between this person who's able to create this world, whether it be a Spielberg, whether it be a Spike Lee, whether it be a fucking Scorsese, whether it be a Bruno Mars, whether it be a Eric Clapton, whoever these people are to take you out of this world.
Yeah.
And they almost seem like foreign to you. But now it seems like because everybody wants to rap. Everybody wants to produce. Everybody wants to be a comedian online. Everybody wants to do it, right? So it kind of takes it away. You know, like, yo, my man raps. Well, bro, I've been doing this for fucking 20 years. I've been rapping for 20 years. I've been active in the game for 10.
Yeah.
Like, no, he can't fucking rap with me. No, he hasn't earned it.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
It is true, and it's like all those people you named are creating things for themselves and put the work in for themselves. Like, people get mad at me that I don't ask questions that would get like the headline.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna get the most views? But I don't really care about that stuff. I'm having a conversation that I want to have with you. Like, even what we've talked about before is like makes me feel good about
course.
how I think. It's not about like, oh, what's your next project coming out? And of course, I want to.
I mean, that's whatever. But like I do that. That's what the gram is for, right? That's what social media is for. Like, I feel like podcasts such as this and people that are using them correctly. I think this is why Rogan is so good.
Yeah.
Because he allows the breadth of people that he brings on there, you know, and then allowing them to really like just fucking talk and get a chance to see who the person is. And a lot of times, you know, you meet persona before you meet person.
Yeah.
Right. And so I've always tried to maintain who I am. And it's been, you know, this has been the question that's been asked of me from my management team, from people on PR, like, who are you? And I'm like, who I am is not what you want to sell. You want to sell a persona. And I feel like that's the corniest shit in the world. The people that I grew up idolizing, like real time people I could touch, they were the realest motherfuckers I ever met in my life.
Do you think it's changing and swinging in the better direction or the worse direction?
Like, to be honest, I don't know, because I only care about me, to be totally honest, right? You know, I could look and see.
But you're creating what it sounds like you're creating what you want to create.
Yes, and I've always done that.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed that people have gravitated towards that. You know, and you know, Huss Kingpin, shout out to Huss. He reminded me of something. That's my guy Irish over there, guys. You know what I mean? That's why I brought him with me. He absolutely, he had to make his fucking appearance known, his presence known. He had made a post on Twitter about you know, the current wave and how everybody is on this current wave right now. And he was like, yo, like, if you were doing this pre 2011, pre 2010, like drop a song or video, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what, Huss? I will drop one.
Yeah.
And so he was like, bro, like, you know, like, he was like, that's right. Like, I remember when you were selling out vinyl before that was even a thing.
Damn.
And I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, yeah, but my
what
thing,
made you want to do that stuff?
vinyl?
Yeah, like
It wasn't even me. I was just in the right place at the right time. The first producer that I worked with, my first project was produced by Kenny Dope, who, if you guys hear this and you Google him, he's fucking one half of Masters at Work, like the Quincy Jones of house music.
Yeah.
Seriously, like from CeCe Winans, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, everybody he's produced for. And so he's a vinyl collector. So it's like, we got to put it on vinyl. And I was like, okay, I don't fucking have a record player, but if you want to put it on vinyl, we put it on vinyl.
What year is this?
This was, we dropped our first single in 2009.
Wow.
And I remember I did a show in Japan. I don't even have the single. I don't even have it. And it came in these 45s with these decorative sleeves. And I was in Japan, and I was in Yokohama, Japan. I did a show, and at the end of the show, people wanted me to sign shit. And this brother and sister was like, yo, we went to New York to get this because we knew you were going to be here to have it signed. I was like, I don't even fucking have this, bro. I have like I think I might have the test press, but I don't have.
In Japan.
In Japan, in Yokohama.
And you had you had a day job at that point.
Yep, I had a day job at the time.
Hated it?
The day job? Yeah, I've never wanted to work. Who the fuck wants to work?
I know, but like, did you? I mean, I don't know. Some people are crazy like that.
Yeah, those are fucking
some
insane.
People are crazy like that. But I mean, that's so crazy. You're in Japan, and people are saying that they're making these flights for you, and it's still another 10 years until you don't work a day job.
Isn't that crazy? That's
but
crazy.
it doesn't feel like it, probably.
Yes, it fucking felt. What are you talking about? It doesn't feel like it. Are you fucking crazy?
I don't know. You seem a pretty happy. You don't seem worn down
I'm
by
not,
the
but
world.
does it
yet.
fucking feel? Yes,
It does feel.
Hell
like
yes, it felt like it. Every fucking day going to
Yeah.
work and then like watching people, man, like one of the guys that I still that's maintained a very solid relationship with me is Mayhem Loren, right? And I remember going to Rappers Out of Control. You got to find a video somewhere, and it was myself, him, and Action Bronson, and we fucking destroyed the cipher. We fucking killed it. And action is where action is.
Yeah.
Mayhem is where mayhem is. And this time I'm working. And I'm like, fuck, I just gotta keep going. And it's definitely been humbling, bro. I wouldn't change any of the story.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change any of it.
Did you think you needed humbling, like looking back at yourself younger?
Maybe. Maybe. But it's funny you say that because there's this artist, an OG, from where I'm from. Where I'm from Passaic, New Jersey. You hear me say Project City all the time. That's the projects in Passaic. And we had artists such as K-Def and Larry O.
Okay.
Larry O is from Hackensack. K-Def is from Passaic. He's from Madison Street. Excuse me. Oh, I fucked that up. He's from Henry Street, the Henry Street Mob. And we had World Renown, who was signed to Warner Brothers. And Seven Sean, his grandmother was apartment 2C. My grandmother was apartment 6C. And so I was very I wouldn't say cocky, but I was very confident in my skill. And so I wanted to show, I wanted to be like, yo, like if you fucking rap, let's rap. Yeah. Like that's where I was. So it was always on go. And I remember they did the Real Live Shit remix with Ghostface, I think, and Capadonna. And we went. Like we cut school and shit and we went. And I'm like, yo, like, let's rap. And my man is like, yo, Sheed is the best. And he was like, what? Like this little nigga, if you don't get out of here with this. But, I had to humble myself because sometimes, your presence intimidates people. Like when you're walking, when you're walking in your truth, your passion, and people aren't, it makes them feel uncomfortable. And so I had to kind of like not temper that, but I had to recognize what it was, right? Because you minimize yourself for no one. You are who you are. The fucking elephant doesn't tiptoe around the jungle. Yeah. He's the fucking elephant, And so, but you're aware of your space. You're aware of your presence. And so, maybe I just wasn't ready. I had to fuck up money. I had to really deal with interpersonal relationships. I had to reconcile with my parents. A lot of shit has transpired in that time. That made me more, better prepared me for all the shit that goes on now.
So you didn't have like imposter syndrome
of trying to be someone else,
or just like not thinking you don't deserve what you have?
No, I've never. So my Aunt Geraldine, what up, Aunt Jerry? I was in 7th grade, and I remember. I used to stop by her house every day on my way home, and she would drink, and she'd have like these little nips of Bacardi and shit. And so, but I used to go over there, and I said, my vice is chocolate chip cookies, right? So y'all know, fucking love a chocolate chip cookie. And so I would go over there, I would eat cookies and shit, and I had asked her for like $2 or $5 or some shit, and she was sipping already, and I had on like a hat, like a trench coat and shit. And she was like, yo, take this shit off. Like, take these glasses off. Like, be yourself. Like, she was like, who the fuck, like, who are you supposed to be? And I told her that. Like, from that moment in 7th grade, it was like, yo, like, who the fuck am I supposed to be? I am supposed to be me.
In 7th grade.
7th grade. And
Who were you trying to be before?
I was trying to be probably rappers that I saw. That might have been Slick Rick. That might have been, you know, but it was just like, yo, like I have to be me. But when you say not feeling like I deserve what I have, it was the other way. So I didn't feel like I deserved the drug addicted parents. I didn't feel like I deserved, you know, fucking no hot water. I didn't feel like I deserved I didn't feel like I feel like I deserved more.
Yeah.
You know, but I knew from everybody that I studied, from Malcolm X, from Michael Jordan, from LeBron James, from Floyd Mayweather, you gotta put in the fucking work. I knew nothing was gonna be handed to me. I know it's not going to be a song with me and Spesh that puts me at 100,000 followers. I know it's not going to be a song with me and Freeway. I know it's not going to be a song with me and Nas. It's going to be me doing the fucking work. Yeah. And I'm committed to that. And that's why I grind the way I do. Who did I come up here with today?
No one.
What was I on the phone doing?
Working, doing your own
right?
thing. Yeah.
So that's me. That's me. How much time did we spend together at my event?
A good amount of time.
Right? But what was I doing?
You were politicking, talking. You were...
How many drinks did I have? None. I don't drink.
Are you sober?
Sober. How many puffs of weed did I have? None.
0.
It's a fucking job. And I treat it as such, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, some people, you know, they ingratiate themselves with people because of the smoking and the drinking and shit like that. But I'm here to do the work, you know, period.
Always been like that?
Never drank in my parents were addicted to crack, coke, drinking. That was in my move. Like I just saw, and it never looked fun. Like my boys did it. It never looked fun.
Yeah.
The throwing up and shit. Like no. Like they would go to strip clubs. I'm like, yo, you know we can fuck for free. Like why are we going to the strip club?
I feel you on that. Yeah.
Like, you know, like why are we spending money? Like, you know, like the fuck. Like let's go fuck.
You said chocolate chip cookies. You have any vices?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Yeah. Hell yeah, I have vices. I fucking don't wear the same clothes twice. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, I wear the same clothes twice. Let's not but like for
like white tees and shit.
No, white tees, socks.
I just wouldn't want to go to the store that much.
Sneakers, like it's bad.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like if you could find a photo of me on the gram with the same kicks on maybe more than twice,
you like that? You have that shopping bug.
Yeah, I like to spend money.
Yeah,
I like to spend money, bro.
That's some real. It's a problem.
It is. I like to spend money.
It's crazy to think that like you can get an advance or bonus, and I was thinking about this and blow it in a single purchase.
That's a fact.
And people can do that easy.
Of course you can.
$100,000 can be gone in a single purchase.
Yes,
like,
that's a car. That's the right watch with no diamonds in it, y'all. Let me tell you, stop getting fucking bust downs and devaluing the value. Like, don't do that.
Wait, tell me about this because I don't know anything about watches.
Okay.
You mind if I smoke?
No, of course not. You know, I just did an album with XP.
That's why I was so surprised.
Hey, this guy?
I love that album with XP, but I was surprised that you didn't smoke.
No. I'm sure I got a contact. I'm sure I could piss out. I would fail a piss test. But like, so the Rolex, for instance, or the Audemars, when you put diamonds that aren't factory diamonds in those watches, you decrease the value of the watch.
But it makes it look.
It makes it look terrible to me. Like I'm a classic guy, you know. So I grew up watching. You know, unfortunately, the dope dealers in the neighborhood, and yeah, I can't even shout his name out because you know, no.
I understand.
But Mr. President told me when I first got my hands on some money, he was like, "Yo, get you a Rolex, right? Get you a fucking Rolex, and you'll have money forever. Whenever you need to get money, you'll have it on your wrist, and you can go get it." And I didn't listen to him at the time. I was like, "Fuck, I should have listened to him."
Really?
Yeah, I should have definitely listened to him. Definitely. Like he had the presidential with the blue face at the time. Now he has a red face in it. And he has the Roman numerals now. He had it changed. But he was like, yo, like you have to invest in certain, like this is an investment. Fuck how it look. You know, and he was like, and don't get no fucking non-factory diamonds in it. So I didn't understand at the time. I'm like 18. But then as I started getting more into watches and got my first watch, I think at 23, 24, it was like, okay, all right, cool.
What was your first watch?
My first luxury watch was a fucking Movado, which I still have. Then it was a Tissot, and then from there I had a.
See, I feel that with art. Like now that I'm getting, I want to like buy art. Like I see pieces and I'm like,
You got to come to my house.
yeah,
I got to show you.
You're an art guy.
And it was by affiliation, right? So one of my best friends is an artist. He paints, he draws, he does canvas work as well. And I was just so amazed that, because when you draw, you're using both sides of your brain. So I was like, yo, this fucking guy.
I actually didn't know that. I
Yeah.
said like I knew,
you
but
do.
I didn't.
You use both. And so, because he's like, yo, like your writing is just as vivid. I say, yeah, but like these words already exist, right? I'm not making up new words. You're fucking pulling images that you're pulling out, like, it's crazy to me.
It is crazy.
Yeah, man.
But
So,
you don't think that you paint pictures with like?
I know I do. Like, I know that's my gift, the ability to paint the picture. But I'm using words that already are in the ether. There's a book with all these words called the dictionary. There's no book of what the fuck it is that you're pulling out of your head. I mean, some people do portraits and shit, but like these original images that he's drawing, I think are crazy, Shout out to Corey Cooper, Cooper Project. You can check him out on the gram. But there's another amazing artist. Like, I've never seen anyone use this medium before. His name is Will Swink. And there used to be a club in Boston called Church. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, I played there.
Okay. That's why I brought Irish.
I'm 24 years old.
Okay, well,
I'm a
Irish,
little.
Irish. This was about, maybe 10 years ago?
They would have closed it down probably within the last, like 7 to 10 years.
Okay, so we did a show up there. Myself, I believe Apathy. Apathy was there. And we rocked up there. And so this is serendipity, right? Like you said, there's no such thing as coincidence. So I'm literally on the gram, and I'm like, yo, I need a fucking album cover. I need an album cover for this fucking first brick project. Like, what is it gonna be? And I saw this picture, and immediately, as I'm reaching out to this person via DM, I get a DM from him.
Really?
Same time.
And that's the album cover that you have on.
I'm gonna tell you.
All right. Because I love that. I love that. piece.
So thank you. So I send it, and he's sending me a picture. He sent me. He was like, "Yo, there's this picture on your gram. I was wondering if I could use it for an inspiration piece." And I'm like, "Yeah, you can use it for whatever fuck you want, but I'm reaching out to you because this picture on your gram, I want to know if I can use it for a cover. Like, how long you been doing digital?" He was like, this is not digital. And I'm like, well, what do you do? And he was like, yo, I got a studio down in wherever the fuck he was in New Jersey at the time, way down by the shore. And he was like, if you're serious, like, if you could come tomorrow, boom, boom, boom. Now, it was a snowstorm. It was snowing. I was like, you know what? I'll be there tomorrow.
Damn.
I go tomorrow, me, my wife, my son. And I had this whole idea of what I wanted to be. But when I get there, this fucking guy, Will Swink, he doesn't draw. He carves images out of wood.
Really?
Stains it. He takes maps of where people is from, makes it the clothing. It's fucking
You're
out
going to
of
have
this
to show
world.
me this guy
I will.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out of control. It's out of control. These pieces, I've gone to his galleries. I've gone to his shows. They go for like 10, 15 grand a piece.
Damn.
Out of fucking control. He's like, he says to me, and then so we go back to church. He was like, I'm like, how do we even follow each other? He was like, you don't remember me? Like, we met at church. I'm like, church? I don't go to church. He's like, no, we met at church. We met at the show up in Boston. I was like, oh, you came to see Apathy? He was like, no, I came to see you. I'm like, wow, that's dope. You know what I mean? He was like, you don't remember it? I'm like, well, there's a bunch of white boys there. I don't, everybody, And so Will Swink.
It's an Apathy show. What do you think?
Yeah, right. Shout out to Apathy.
Shout out to
Apathy. But he did a cover for a piece called Brick and Mortar, which never came out. And then I was like, yo, we're gonna do this other project called First Brick. And that's what you see. And he did the first brick. Like it's a fucking and the pieces.
Is that wood?
Yes, I got it. You got to come.
You watched I was watching an interview you did, and in the background you
yeah.
have it. I didn't realize that was wood though. That's insane.
Yes, it's fucking wood, bro.
Because that's such a crazy piece.
Who does that?
Damn.
And I have 2 of them sitting in my fucking living room.
2 of them.
2 of them.
Wow.
I got
and you
2 of them.
message each other at the same time.
At the same time, on a Friday night.
So art is there is something about art that's different. Like as you said, like the creating something that is crazy, like out of nothing. I can't do it.
I can't.
Like my dad's a drummer, and I feel that with playing. Do you play any instruments?
No.
Like it's kind of wild that someone can play an instrument to me.
It's wild to me that there aren't only 10 drum patterns.
Yeah.
Like that there's.
But what do you feel about like rap flow, like flows or patterns?
I think
like
cadences are amazing. Like
that's everything.
Yes.
That's literally everything.
I
I don't know why I shouldn't say that as a an outsider.
But you're a listener, so for you it could be everything.
Yeah.
But for me, like there's so my youngest son he just turned 18, and we listen to music all the time. This is what he and I do, and so he put me on to I forget the kid's name. The one that's locked up, I think, is YFN Nelly.
Oh yeah, YNW Melly.
YNW Melly. So he has a song with Little Uzi Vert, who I love.
I love Lil Uzi. I was just talking to Bub Styles and Chubbs about how I love Uzi because I was wearing my T-shirt for them. Yeah,
love him.
Amazing. We'll talk about that after.
Yeah. Yes,
All right.
we will.
All right.
I love Uzi. And they have this somebody else on the song. I forget who was on the song. And Melly is rapping. He's just regular rapping. And then there's like 2 bars where he changes up his cadence and goes into this whole and like I've made my son play this song for me so many times. And I tell my son all the time, I said, your dad has been listening to music his whole life. He's been a fan of music his whole life. Music has been his life. I said, if you sat me in front of that fucking beat for a year, I would have never found that cadence. I would have never found it.
Yeah.
I would have never found that pocket. And I said that to someone else. And they were like, yo, like, because we were talking about Uzi. He was shocked that I listened to Uzi. I'm like, yo.
I'm shocked you listen to Uzi,
Are you
too.
crazy? Uzi, Don Toliver.
Playboy?
Cardi.
I just saw Playboy like last week in Boston. I was front row for that shit. I would rap. And I'm a huge fan of you. Like, I like it
music
all.
Is
It's
music.
so,
Music is music.
people are so dumb.
What's my man's name?
People feel that way with comedy. It's like I like really dumb, not dumb comedy, but like Nick Swartzen's one of my favorite. But I
Okay.
also love really smart, like really
Like Chappelle, right?
exactly Chappelle, or even like Doug Stanhope, or like
Trippie Redd, right?
Trippie Redd's so good.
He has a song called Love Scars 3.
Yeah, I know that song. Yeah,
It would have been 90s R&B. It's like there's so much dope shit. Like I've never been. I like what I like, right? So
Yeah.
like I don't give a fuck who doesn't like it. Like I like what I like. So I've never been in that box. I'm not a purist, right? I'm not that guy. Like I don't want everybody to sound like me, because then I wouldn't. Then what the fuck do I need to do it for?
Yeah.
I like the fact that like the Migos, for them to find that pocket. Are you fucking kidding me?
yeah.
Bro, I sit in front of beats and I write rhymes, right? You know what I mean? And it's like to find those pockets, like, and people don't even know the nuances, right? Like, so when I listen to, you had Conway up here, right?
Yeah.
So when I listen to Conway, there's so many nuances. It may sound like it sounds the same if you don't know what you're listening for. Premier said this a long time ago. If you don't know how to listen to hip hop, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
But there are so many different little variations of his flow, right? That if you don't know what you're listening for, you'll miss it. Oh, he just no, he's listen.
Yeah.
You know, you have to find that breath, that pause, that elongated word.
And the energy behind it. Like that's how I feel listening to a lot. Like who I like when I talk about cadence, it's not even that. I'm big on it. I'm like a fucking spiritual white girl when I talk about energy.
Okay.
I love
Got the crystals and
energy.
shit?
Yeah,
Okay.
crystals, not so much. They help me heal my calf, but that's
Okay.
beside the
Okay.
point. I meditate and I do yoga.
Okay.
Like,
Because the
but
spiritual white girls got dirty feet,
no, I don't like dirty
crazy
feet.
sex. They got the waist beads. You know what I mean?
No, not type of that. But I like energy. And it's like the energy behind music. Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by the podcast Woody Two Shoes, hosted by comedian Thatcher Wood. Other than being a really good friend, Thatcher is one of the funniest comedians and podcasters I know. Woody Two Shoes is available on all podcast platforms. It's a comedic podcast where he interviews a different interesting person each week, and they get into a bunch of different topics. You should subscribe to his YouTube channel too. At 100 subscribers, he's giving away merch. At 500 subscribers, he's giving away a PS5. That's right. Yeah, a PS5. So make sure you go subscribe to Woody Two Shoes on YouTube and follow Thatcher on Instagram at Wood Two Shoes. 2 is in the number. Wood Two Shoes on Instagram. Let's get back into it. It's the case. Like, you can tell when someone's making what they were put here to make.
I believe it, because I listen to a lot of older music, right? So I listen to like, let's say Hall & Oates, right? So I was listening to Hall & Oates a couple of days ago. The past few days, I've been heavy on Culture Club.
Okay.
And there's one particular song called Time, Clock of the Heart. And when you listen to that record, because I believe in perfect records, I believe in perfection. I think it happens in an instant, right? I believe perfection is just like a blink.
I agree.
Like, it's not really sustained, but it's a blink, and you can get a glimpse of it. And on that record, the Culture Club record, Time, Clock of the Heart, it's a perfect record. Everything is in place. Everything is in key. No one else could have sung it the way Boy George sung it. And there's a bridge, which we don't have in current R&B. They're doing it more on the pop side, specifically the English pop. There was a bridge, and it's just the word time sung 3 times, and the way they did it is fucking it's flawless.
No, there are those moments in songs.
It's flawless. It's flawless. It's fucking flawless. The drum when on Dreams of Fleetwood Mac, when the drum comes in, that's a perfect moment. That's a perfect moment, because the song Rain Only, what is it? Thunder Only Happens.
Yeah.
So it comes in as the thunder.
Yeah.
It's fucking like it's beautiful, bro.
That's why, honestly, I don't prepare anything. I didn't prepare any questions for you. I listened to your music anyway, so like I got to listen to it a little bit more,
Thank you. I
knowing you
appreciate
were
that.
coming in, but I already listened to it. Like, I like conversations and how imperfect they are, and how it can be that perfect moment where maybe someone listens to this and they hear one sentence that changes them, or one thing that they connect to. Because you mentioned Joe Rogan earlier, and I don't really talk about how he affects me on this podcast because of how people feel about him,
Okay.
especially people in the comedy world. But when I was young, I had stuff around me wasn't positive. No one was teaching me positive things. And I got like full tuition to private school. So I was around really, really wealthy, perfect people.
We did air quotes. for those
With the
listening.
air quotes for people listening. And then I would go home and it would be a shit show.
Yeah.
And then when at 16 I started listening to Joe Rogan, and as silly as he was, and he smoked weed and didn't give a fuck, he cared about being his best self.
Yeah.
And like working on himself and through these conversations. And that's why I do this, is like, I want someone to hear me talking to you, and it affects them like how when I listened to him when I was younger, and it made me want to take care of myself.
I think that's deep, because like my other issue, aside from my detachment issue, since we're fucking having a free therapy session here,
That's what this is.
I have to force myself to kind of live in the moment, right? I don't even think that big. I don't even think that far that someone's gonna hear my music and it affects them in that way. Like, it's weird as fuck, because I've gotten so many DMs from people telling me that my music helped them through a really hard time. Like, there's this one particular song called Beautiful Art Tortured Soul on the 15 Minutes in Queens project, and it's some real shit. Like, I'm talking about some real shit on there, and some dude was like, yo, I was like thinking about ending it. and I heard this record. I'm like, wow, that's fucking deep. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, and I'm smiling because it's that nervous energy. Like, wow, that's fucking crazy that someone could hear something and it affect their mood that much, right? But I learned how to love listening to fucking music, bro. Listening to, like, I was a little kid. There's a song called Silly by Denise Williams, right? I get goosebumps. Like, I can't even listen to it sometimes, right? And as a little kid, my mom would play this record. And when her and my dad would fight, like, if I came home, I would knew that there was an issue. If that record was playing, I knew there was a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Right? And I knew as a little kid, pre-fucking first grade, that if that record was playing, that something was fucked up. And I knew I never wanted to be that guy in a song. I knew it. Fuck loving a woman. I just knew I never wanted to be that guy in a song.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I heard songs like Girlfriend by Bobby Brown, or If It Isn't Love by New Edition, or you know, fucking, you know, I want to learn how to love like that. I want to feel like that, like what they're singing about. Like, so we get these cues from music, the shit that we hear, you know, or when you hear things that make you fucking think, like That's Me in the Corner, That's Me in the Spot, Losing My Religion by R.E.M., you know, or you hear fucking Jeremy by Stone Temple Pilots, like these records that provoke thought, or you hear just this fucking angst and Smell Like Teen Spirit, like you hear all this shit, or Black Steel in the Hour, Chaos by fucking, like there's so much shit going on inside my head all the time, right? That is like all these songs are moments and moods and snapshots and just like my emotions, like, you know, you fucking see NWA walking through the I Have a Dream, kicking the fucking pit, like, yo, that's a fucking moment. You know what I mean? And it's just like, music is crazy. Like, the shit is incredible, bro.
It is crazy.
It's incredible.
And that's why I do feel very honored coming in as like a fan and an outsider, like, because I have that same thing. I mean, when I say rap is all I listen to, it's all I really listen to. There might be a few artists here and there but as I get older, I just dive in heavy and I listen heavy to it. But I have those songs in my life that like are those moments.
Yes.
And it's funny you're talking about there are those, that song was created, it was supposed to be created in that moment. There was like,
couldn't have existed anywhere else.
Like we're talking about perfection. It's funny, like Touch the Sky by Kanye. Like I'm younger, I'm 24 years old. So when I was young and I heard that song, like that song just reminds me, like, no matter what, like dark shit, you know, with dark shit with my parents, like that was the happy song. Like that was the song that would bring me happiness. Like,
and when
Touch the Sky, like
going through a moment now, you can go back to that song.
Yeah, that's the problem, is I feel like when I was younger, I had such an attachment to like certain music. And now there's so much music out and I love all of it that it's harder to have like a long-term relationship with a project
when
or
you
a
asked
song.
me earlier, that's where the magic is being lost. So that magic, like you have to continuously put out so much content to just remain in people's, you know, sight line, but you lose the magic where there was a song that I could play and dissect for a year, you know, before people started putting out music, you know, like Touch the Sky, right? So that's when the mixtapes and shit started coming in a little bit heavier, but you could just rock with that song until the next project came out.
Yeah.
You know, you had your 5 or 10 albums that you listened to for the year and you were just good to go. Like, these are the artists that you fucked with, and so like these songs got you through. That's why, you know, to go to it doesn't, you know, when I went to Rock the Bells, and I saw like they just want Nas to perform Illmatic because it stood the test of time. You know, Ray, we just need you to do the Purple Tape. It stood the test of time. Lauren, you just got to do the Miseducation because those.
But they don't like those albums any. I mean, they could. But
the artists we grow. My favorite song is my next song, but the feeling that created for so many people, bro. Like to watch people who I grew up with see Nas on stage, right? Because I know how it makes me feel. So to to just watch them because I'm an observer. So I'm watching them and I'm just like, yo, like this shit is crazy. This is like, all over again for the first time. And it's just like very few things have that effect. Maybe sex with a new person for the first time might bring you, or really good sex with someone to bring you back to like, wow, this is like reminiscent of the first time. But what is it that we do on our day-to-day lives that makes us think about the first time we've done it?
Yeah.
Not driving, not making a meal, not getting dressed, but like music. Like I remember the first time I heard this. I remember the first time I saw this painting. I remember the first time I watched this movie. It's art.
But isn't it weird like that? That's beautiful that guy came up told you how that song that you made
crazy.
affected him. But you also might have a different relationship with that song than he does. Like episodes of this, when people come up and say they like that episode or whatever it is, it's almost like I don't like that. Like I'm always on to the next thing. It's almost weird to hear people like stuff.
You're an artist, man.
But
Like,
you feel that?
my favorite
Are you
songs,
Are you hard? Do you not like your old stuff?
I don't listen to it, but
That's good to hear. A lot of people come up here and tell me that they listen to their old stuff, and I don't believe them.
It's very hard because I'm always trying to, like I said, my favorite song is my next song. So, no, I don't listen to my old stuff. Like I don't have the time really to listen to it. Like I might fucking be on a car ride and like, oh, let me listen to this, but like listen to my old stuff, no.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Buck Wild yesterday, and we were talking about getting back in. We did a project last year.
Great project.
Thank you.
And shout out PQ. I love
Yes,
PQ
yeah,
for
shout out to
doing the
PQ.
art. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Dope artist.
It's super dope. Art.
Yeah.
Like
he was one of the first artists, and I've had a lot of artists on this podcast, but he was one of the first to come on.
And I try to go, if you've noticed anything about me. So there's no Griselda features.
Mm-hmm.
No, I got 2 albums with Spesh. He's not rapping on no songs.
Yeah.
Right? I do my own thing. So everybody was using certain artists for their artwork. I have none of that. I found PQ because Screwdini, Screw Tape, who I was talking with today, actually.
Oh, really?
I saw I thought it was fucking phenomenal.
His art's so different than anybody else's.
And shout out to P because he was like, yo, I want to thank you so much for you. And I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it, but it spoke to me. It was dope and it spoke to me. And I knew he reminded me of me, that he just needed that look. And everybody's going to be fucking with you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you just need that look. Come on, I'll give it to you.
Everyone, I show his art to as many people as I can because the second they see it, they're like,
they love it.
And I love the cover, and I want to go back to your talk about Buck Wild, but I
Okay.
do want to give PQ his shine for that because
Absolutely.
he has one of my favorite pieces up in my apartment that I have. He gave
That's dope.
yeah, he's a dope artist. And
PQ,
guy.
I need a print of our album. I don't even have a print of it, but I got to send him his vinyl. I got some vinyl for him. But so I was talking to Buck yesterday, and he was bigging up the project, the RX project, right? And he was telling me how dope he thought it was, and I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. Like, this is Buck Wild.
Yeah.
You know.
But you got like Rock Marcy produced the
Yeah,
track on
it's
that.
crazy. It's crazy. Shout out to Rock Marciano.
Yeah.
But that was XP. He has a relationship with Mark, with Rock, and he brought it to the table. It was a few tracks that he presented, and that was the one that we picked. And X had actually just sent it to me. Like, he was like, "Yo, we got Rock, boom," and I was like, "Oh shit, okay." And so I laid my verse, and I was got J Royale. Originally, that track was going to be myself, me and X, J Royale, and Willie the Kid. But Willie just, he's super busy right now. He wasn't able to drop the verse. But
Shout out J Royale.
yeah, fucking
Awesome dude and
super
amazing rapper.
amazing.
Past guest, go check out that
Yeah,
episode.
like
He was-
fucking out of control with it. One of my favorite artists, and I've shouted him out in many interviews, telling anybody that wants to listen, if you fuck with me at all, if you value my opinion on anything, The fucking Baltimore Housing Project album is a fucking classic.
So good. Would
a
you guys
classic.
ever make a tape together?
We talked about it actually.
Yeah?
We talked about. I mean, we talked about it for a while.
You guys would work so well together on a full project.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. I fuck with Jay heavy.
Baltimore and Jersey.
Yeah, project and I tell him all the time like, yo, like as much as I say Project City, how the fuck did I never think of a title, The Housing Project? I'm so fucking pissed. I'm like, yo, we got to be the Housing Authority or some shit like that. But talking to Buck yesterday,
yeah,
right?
sorry,
Talking
I'm
to
a
Buck.
bad host.
I'm a terrible storyteller. So I'm talking to Buck yesterday, and he's just telling me how much he likes the RX album, and we talking about Sinners and Saints, and I'm like, bro, like somebody had I did another show, and they had asked me about the song off of like I've been doing so much work that I forgot about the album. Dead ass, like
No, I
like,
feel you.
forgot about the
I
album.
know exactly. People will be like, "I love that." I'm like, "What?
I did that?
No,
Like,
I
oh, shit.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
got exactly. What you
So I'm doing the interview, and my man was like, "Yo, like let's talk about the album you did with Buck." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I did do a fucking album. Yeah, let's talk
With
about
Buck,
that. Yeah, I did do the
yeah.
album." And he asked me about this record called the Blue Hood, and like I haven't heard the song in so long, and because he's asking me the process behind the song, and I'm like, I just remember like writing the song, and I remember like immediately after recording the song that like I didn't listen to that record because it's like so eerie, you know what I mean? The song is about being a white cop killing a black person and knowing that they were gonna do it, and it was just like I had to go someplace to like inside to write that record. I'm like, yo, like. I didn't really, so like when you talk about the relationships that we have with certain songs, like
Yeah.
how it differs. And so that song I think is important for the culture. But like for me personally, like, it just always felt weird.
Where
Like,
do you go when you write? When you say you go to a different place, because I know what you mean, but where do you go?
see, I seldom, if you listen to my music, I don't really write a lot of bragging raps. About me it's more.
You're a painter.
Thank you. And I try to always be that, right? And when I tell you, it's gonna sound cliche as fuck, but really the music dictates what I write. I listen to the music, and I don't have these preconceived ideas of what the song is gonna be about.
So the muse comes to you. You don't look for the muse.
It come, and when it happens, like it happens. Like I'm not a guy that writes every day. I don't write every day. I pretty much go to the studio and that's where it happens. But I've been reading this book called The Way of the Superior Man, and it just talks about like energy, masculine, feminine energy, how it manifests itself.
What's it called?
The Ways of the Superior Man.
Okay.
And I read a lot, and I listen to a lot of like TED Talks and shit like that, and NPR radio, a bunch of shit. Like I really sports radio. I really don't listen to music much. I listen to music all the time, I should say, but like the music that I want to listen to.
Yeah.
And so there was this woman who was being interviewed, and she was talking about inspiration. Right? Is it internal, external? Where does it come from?
Yeah.
And she believes that it's an external force. Like I believe we're all vessels, right? So she believes that there's an external force that comes and it wants to make itself present in this realm, and it wants to make itself present, but you have to treat it as such. And so she talks about how she talks to her inspiration. She's like, look, I don't know why you're trying to come to me right now. It's fucking 3:00. I have a 5:00 appointment. I'm going to be in traffic for an hour. After that, we got dinner. If you really want to make yourself known, you got to come to me when I got time. I don't have time for you. Right? And so I read this article, I don't know how many years ago. I think it was the 25th anniversary of Thriller. And Quincy Jones said that it would be him, Rod Temperton, James Ingram, and Michael Jackson. They would go into the studio, but they would leave the door cracked, because they would want God to make his way into the room, right? So you talk about this higher power, like, so every creation has a creator. I believe that 100%. And so when these inspirations hit me, it's like I just ride it out. I don't force it. I did a project. I remember I had really tapped into it. I really tapped into it. I think I've been riding it for the past 3 years now. But I remember when I really, really tapped into it, I called OC. And I was like, yo, I'm fucking writing the best shit of my life. I can't even believe this. And O is like so cool. He's such a fucking grizzled. He's like, oh, so you'll never have writer's block. And I'm like getting nervous. Like, why the fuck would you say that? I'm telling you, I'm feeling. He was like, no, you know where to go. You've tapped into it. You know how to unlock it. It'll never happen for you again. Because now you've like reached the glow level.
Yeah, you know how to. You know the
know where it
keys
is.
to unlock the door.
You know where. Go get it. Right. So now when I'm in the studio, all right, come on.
Yeah, but you can't just. That's so crazy to think about because I can't sit down and write. Like if you gave me a notebook right now and told me to write 5 minutes of comedy, I would look like someone who had never done it before.
Okay.
But if I have nothing prepared and it's 10 minutes before showtime, I'll have this like flood of knowledge that I just people will be like, "What the fuck?" Not that I think I'm some great comedian because I haven't been doing it long enough to be a great, you know. But I'll write one word down and a joke will just come on stage, and I write on stage. That's how I write because I can't
But that's your
That's my studio.
That's
my
dojo.
exactly. I need the pressure to be on. Kind
Some
of.
people, I think I know I do. I shouldn't say think. I thrive under pressure. I was formed like I was like forged in that fire, bro.
Yeah.
And so it's like I find myself when I was married, I had my kids young. I started having kids at like 17, 18.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
How old's your oldest?
27.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. She's a doctor. Shout out to my daughter Zariah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And she like I would need the TV on. I would need the kids running around. I would need the wife in there cooking. I needed the chaos because it made me hyper focused. It made me hyper focused on what the fuck it is that I got to do.
Yeah.
So
thriving in chaos. That's what we started this conversation of talking about.
See?
Like
full circle, and it's just like finding that focus point. And so when I find that focus point, like with the music, like it'll be, I'll hear it and I'm like and the words like literally like when Neo saw the numbers flow, like it just comes and I just let it and I don't force it. I don't But I've been doing it for so long. Like some people could watch me write a song in an hour or hour and a half, but I've been doing it so long. I know if I could get
that's
to
your
this
schooling.
line, if I get to this line, I know I could get to this line, and I know I can get to this line.
Exactly.
And then it's just like it's just putting a puzzle together. But like I love the shit, and I don't know if y'all heard me. I said my daughter's a doctor.
That's for real.
Like,
Congratulations.
from the fucking, like I wasn't supposed to be here
at 17.
Yeah, you feel me? And so it's just like it's a beautiful thing, man. I this thing called life is fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Because I came here today like, I'm going to sit here with Sam and fucking, he's not going to buy me nothing to eat. He's probably not going to have any water. I know he's not going to have any chocolate chip cookies. You know what I mean? So
I'm usually better than that. I will be. This was a last minute trip.
He's not going to be any fucking cookies.
I come with a good conversation.
Yeah, but there's no fucking cookies. Like, I'll take a bad conversation with some good cookies.
The next time I see you better, man, then I'm going to have some chocolate chip cookies for you.
Nah, this shit was fire, bro. This shit is fire.
No, thank you so much for doing this, honestly.
Of course, bro. I wanted to do it. Like, X had told me about you, and then Retro P, Nicole Porter from Porterhouse Productions.
Yeah.
Retro P. That's
That's
people
her
should fuck
Instagram. Yeah.
It looks like, yo, you got to tap in. Like, he's dope, And I tapped in. I saw the interview with Ito. Then I saw your comedy. No, seriously. And the past maybe month or so, I just got hip to Mark Normand. And I've been Mark Normand. I've been fucking Jeff Dye. I've been Tom Segura. I've been...
You're diving deep.
Yeah, I've been Dan Cummings. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like
Those
so,
are the guys I was listening to, like, starting out.
But it's the psyche of it, and I heard Richard Pryor's Widow, on Sway. That might have started the comedy thing. right? Because it's always something. It's boxing. I want to see the mindset. I want to know how do you become great? How do you tap into that?
Yeah.
Like where the fuck do you go?
Me?
No, all these people, like you too, like but
Yeah.
like all these people, like because you like there's only so much boxing I can watch. There's only so much, I haven't been in the gym as much as I like to because I've just been grinding, and that's that fight when you go to the boxing gym, and it's you and it's somebody else's will, and you got to look at this fucking person and know that their will is stronger than yours. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna beat this guy. And you got to say that to yourself, like it's wild, but I got to keep fighting, and it's the craziest shit in the world. But
That's funny how you just described that, because that's how I would answer your question and what you just asked me in stand-up.
talk to me.
I think it's a battle. I need to go up there and take over a room. Even if I know I'm not going to do it, I know I have to battle that room for a certain amount of time. And they could hate me. When I started out, people would throw drinks at me. People would threaten to kill me. I've had cops threaten to arrest me because I was doing jokes that were anti-cop. Like, I just had to learn that no matter what, you got to stay in that fight.
You do. And I think that as far as artists are concerned, I believe that the social commentary that's being told through some of the comedy, I think is out of this world. Carlin being one of the best ever. In his last stand-up that was televised, like that wasn't even fucking comedy. Like holy shit! Like if you could see the faces of the audience, it's like, wait, what the fuck did we come to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or when you because before anything, I'm a black man, right? I identify. My pronouns are black man, right? You know what I mean? So it's like. I'm so entrenched in the ideology of who I am and what that means and how it looks in this society. Like, it means everything to me. And so when you hear Richard Pryor 30 years ago at I think the term LGBT was even around then, but at a rally for gays and lesbians, and he talks about how he's there in support of them, but they never show up for when a black person gets shot and killed. This is 30 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
This is the same shit Chappelle is talking about
Which
today.
is real shit that he's talking about.
Of course it is.
It's like...
Of course it is. And so when I talk to, white faces in a room that don't know the nuances of the conversation, that yes, you can be black, and yes, you can be gay, and yes, you can be lesbian, and yes, you can be trans. All those things can exist at the same time. But at the same time, there is something that's happening where those voices, faces are absent, and why are we not talking about that? You may not agree, it may be uncomfortable, but it's a conversation that needs to be had because it is happening.
No, I 100% agree. I think that representation is important, and that's why something I get scared. That's something I get uncomfortable with what I'm doing and with people getting a view on me, because I know how people are going to look if they don't listen to a conversation I have, and I've been called like an outsider, and I know I am, and I have to like play that importantly, but I also do think that the conversations that we're having are very important for people to hear.
I agree. I mean, I have this conversation all the time, and as a black man in America, and knowing the history of everything that black people have created in this country, right? From rock and roll to jazz music to certain styles of dress to everything, to dance, to even some of the first films were white people in blackface imitating black people. Like, this is like
comedy.
Like,
I mean, we're talking about American art forms are always based in not white. That's honestly.
But when it comes to my culture, and hip hop is my culture, specifically my culture, when it is, you consider yourself an outsider, right? When I say to people, when I ask you, Irish, where's the kimono from? What do you say?
I would probably guess Japan.
All right, the kimono's from Japan. We don't argue that, right?
Yeah.
When I ask you, where's mariachi music from? Where would you say?
Mexico.
There's no fucking argument about that, right?
Yeah.
If I were to ask you, where would you get anywhere in the world if you go get the best pasta? Where would you?
Italy.
Italy,
yeah.
right? There's no fucking argument about that. But when you talk about hip hop, oh well, there's a culture for everybody. No, it started like it's fine that everyone taps into it now, but the fact that it becomes like an argument or an argument and a point of contention to say that this is a black art form. It is like it's fine. Like no, if I wanted to go to a salsa class, you would kind of expect a Latin person to be teaching the class, right?
Yeah.
Right. If I were to go to a river dancing class, you would fucking
He'd be
yeah.
teaching
That's what I'm
it.
saying. Like that's where we met. Like you would expect. An Irish person
Yeah.
to be teaching the class. If I were to go to a class on how to fucking make samurai swords, you would expect to see a Japanese person. If I were making dumplings, you would want to see an Asian person, which is fine. Other people may have adopted and learned the ways and can teach you, but this comes from us. Like this is our voice, right? And so when other people come in and like it's wild to me when someone from outside of the culture has the authority to dictate what is hot, what is real, what you should be listening to. That's so fucking I know nothing about comedy. Yeah. I've never stood on fucking stage and tried to battle a room in that way, right? And for me to be like, oh well, this fucking guy, he's no good. But I think maybe Conan might be a little bit better at that, right? I think going to his show and doing stand up, like he would be, more apropos to say that that's fire.
100%.
But if I sat behind a fucking microphone and was like, that shit is trash. Well, have you ever done comedy before? Oh no, I've never done comedy before. Have you ever written a joke before? No. Have you ever seen nothing about the process?
Yeah.
So like these people who critique the art, you've never lived in these conditions. You've never been subjected to the decisions that these people have had to make in order to you've never experienced the scar that you're witnessing now because you're hearing the scar. That means they survived it. That's the only reason you fucking hear it. But the pain that it took, the shit that Benny had to go through to become Benny the Butcher, the shit that Nas had to experience to become fucking Nasir Jones, Nas the rapper, Jay's like, you fucking have no clue.
No, and I was having a serious talk because I'm doing this show in the new year with Vivo. It's like a Vivo exclusive YouTube show. Mm-hmm. It's called Wrapped Up. It's like a spinoff of Bucked Up. And at first it was going to be like a review show, but we don't want to review music. Everything's good. I like everything. Like, I just want to talk about, like, I totally get what you mean, where it's like, you can't really critique something, but it's also fun to critique something.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I wasn't doing anything, it was more fun to critique something than now. When someone hates on my stuff, it's like, hey, like, I'm just doing this for me. Like,
yeah.
And it does affect you. That's a real thing. Is like, hate affects you.
How does it affect you in what way?
It hurts. I don't like reading a negative comment. I don't like reading a comment talking about me being like, I don't know, some negative shit. Like,
it totally goes the other way for me. I'm such an asshole. I told you, like, I suffer from detachment. Like, it's so much fuel, bro. Like just imagine like being in a fucking room and proving there's 99 people loving your shit, and you're focused on proving that.
But see, I hate myself more than whatever they're gonna say. That's how I feel about it.
That's
it's
deep.
like
that's deep.
Whatever you say, I've already thought that about myself, so you don't even need to. It's like you don't need to say it. I already know that.
Like I got it. Shut the fuck up.
I'm a stand-up. Like, you don't think I'm up there trying to prove something?
I know,
like.
Bro. The mindset of the comic, like from Richard Pryor and all the shit that he went through, right? So you listen to Richard Pryor's comedy, is completely different than Eddie Murphy's.
Yeah.
They're coming from two different places, right? You can see, if you just listening to him, you say, well, he had a little bit more of a stable upbringing probably, and they were raunchy in different ways, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you listen to this shit, and there was this comedian by the name of Rasheed Copeland. He passed away. Were you familiar with him?
No, I don't know. Check out his stuff on Rasheed Copeland. And he had a bit called Uncle Dope, and he talked about his dope head uncle.
and I could have cried, real tears, like, because it was funny, but it was so. I know I have that uncle.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was out of control. But if you don't know, right, it's just funny on the surface level to you. But like, that's somebody's real fucking pain, right?
He's
So
trying to explain.
Yes.
He's trying to get a room to laugh at something that he like.
that he probably didn't understand as a fucking kid. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening here?
Yeah.
So when you hear, again, I hit you about Mark Norman, right? So when you hear Mark Norman say shit like, I have a fear of intimacy and I can't make eye contact. No, he's really telling you.
Yeah.
He's really talking to you. Like, listen to you. When you hear Richard Pryor talk about he was in a relationship with a transsexual, and when she or he got their dick cut off, he wasn't interested anymore. Like, there was some real shit going on with Richard,
Yeah.
right? It was a joke. But what happened? Well, yeah, I grew up in a whorehouse. What? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, what are you talking
It's a joke, but it's real life.
Yes, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like you listen to these stories that these people are weaving, the ones that are telling, like, being their most authentic self, right? Some of it is entertainment, which is cool. But the people that are really telling their stories, like, is wild, bro. The shit that people have gone through is, like, really, really wild, man.
It is. And we've done a long one. It's been like an hour and a half. I'm
Oh,
surprised. This is dope. But I feel that, and it's funny. Like, my dad came to. I was headlining a show in Boston, and he came to the show, and it was awesome. It was a great show, and he had like one joke that I have, and he's like, "You've done that joke a long time." Like, it's my Lil Wayne joke.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the one that's gotten the most views or something. He's like, "You've done that a lot. Like, I don't know, maybe it's time to retire that." And he said that to me, and I wasn't gonna. I understand he's an outsider. He doesn't get it. But I was like, you don't understand that this comes from one of, like, the darkest places. Like, it's silly, and I don't really talk about dark stuff in it. But what made me write that joke is something that, like, hurt me more, like, affected me more than anything. And it's like, I can't retire it because, like, I don't feel like people understand me yet. So I have to keep doing it until I feel understood.
And that's crazy, right? Because it's like, I said on the RX album, the last song on the album, which, again, shout out to XP, because the last two records were 100% him. Like, he pushed for these two records. And on Save a Spot, I said, how many times do I got to tell you where I'm from until I'm finally free? Until I'm finally me. The self-image that I want the world. Like, how many times do I have to fucking experience this and say this and relive that trauma?
Yeah.
Because y'all don't get it yet. Like, how many fucking times I got to tell you, how many times I got to say it before I could fucking move to the next level? Because y'all haven't caught on yet.
Literally, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so crazy because this shit that we do, bro, and this is why I'm sitting across from a 24-year-old white dude. This is why I did a fucking album with a Mexican fucking rapper, because the universal, there's a connectivity amongst all of us that when we tap into it and we find that commonality, whatever that could be, the trauma, it could be whatever it is. For the most part, I form trauma bonds.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm the exact same way. I'll tell you my life story within like 24 hours of meeting you.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, and it's like, the mob mentality. I don't trust them if you don't got dirt on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you just fucked, it's fucked. Come on, you as fucked up as me. Let's roll. You know what I mean? And so
for real,
yeah.
I can tell when someone's holding shit back, and it's like, I don't trust you.
Yeah, because
you're holding shit
like,
back.
Who the fuck you think you are?
I'll tell you my shit, but you better tell me yours.
Yeah, like,
too.
oh, you got your shit together? Get the fuck out of here.
No one has their shit together.
Exactly.
I know the fucking richest people in the world to the fucking real drug addicts. Like, in some of the, like, I know if you're real or not.
And
it doesn't
drug
matter
addicts,
where
man,
you
they
are.
give it up, bro. I've learned so much. I said, even on the art, I learned devotion from addicts or something. I said that, like, like, because that's the level of dedication it takes to get high every day.
Yeah.
Other than shit and sleep, I don't think there's anything I do every day.
No.
Like, there's no vice that I have that I do every day.
Yeah.
and dope addicts get high every fucking day. Like that level of dedication and commitment is fucking out of, it should be applauded,
It is
bro.
wild.
It should be applauded.
It is wild, yeah.
Whatever, I have vices, and I don't indulge every fucking day. And the fact that they're like, yo, I don't have a fucking job, I don't have a place to stay, but I'm getting fucking high today. Come on, man. Like, come on, bro.
Is that where we're ending this shit?
Like, yeah.
On the life lessons of a dope head?
Yeah.
The
Like,
life lessons of a
if you can
dope
learn
head.
anything from a fucking dope addict, they have no resources, but they make it happen every day.
Man, thank you so much. This was like for real one of my favorite conversations
Thank
I've
you,
had.
bro.
Like, thank you.
You're
This
just
was
saying that because
awesome.
I'm handsome. You see that right there?
It
You
does
see the
look- you've looked good this entire time.
I'm not gonna lie, like Irish, like I'm glad I brought you along. Whoever, like he hooked me up.
Thank you for the man.
Absolutely.
We didn't even talk. You have any shit coming out that you want to promote? Listen
R-
to RX.
Yeah, RX is out right now.
Shout out XP. He's gonna be coming on the podcast next time he's in the city.
Shout out to my
like,
brother XP the Marksman.
amazing dude.
Great guy.
Amazing.
It's my brother. I love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shout out to all the producers on the project. Let me see if I can run them down real quick. We got Recognize Real. We got Sly Beats. We got OCR Beats. We got Asher of LA. We got Buck Wild. We got Rock Mars. We got SEL. We got Malcolm Seth Arkin. And I think that's
Arkin's dope.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
super dope. I think that's everybody on the project. I had to close my eyes and look at the back of the album cover. Shout out
I
to...
still have the signed CD.
Did we give it
from-
to
yeah.
you? Like, did we
Mhm.
put your name on it?
No.
I gotta get you one. Shout out to my man Cape Town that did the artwork.
Dope artwork.
Super dope. Shout out to DJ Eclipse, Ill Word, and J Royale on the album, and just everybody that fuck with me, man. Like seriously, I appreciate, the support. I appreciate it, man. I love this shit. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, man. I
know
was
what I
gonna. Thank you.
Yeah.
Peace out, everyone.